Tiffany Henyard was what she was roasted by Fox News. Tiffany Henyard was roasted. Apparently, she's starting to really hit national headlines when a small city mayor is starting to have entire segments that's dedicated to her. You know it's bad out here in these streets.
An Illinois mayor is getting national attention for the way that she's spending taxpayer dollars. Now, critics say you can't turn your head in the Chicago suburb of Dalton without seeing the name of Mayor Tiffany Henyard. She's also the supervisor of a neighboring township and refers to herself as Super Mayor. It's her TikTok handle, too. But she's now accused of spending tens of thousands of taxpayer funds on self-promoting billboards, as well as putting her name on government buildings, government vehicles, even government rugs. Not to mention the Tiffany Henyard calendar, which includes the super mayor's birthday, because you can't forget that. She could pay for all of this herself, given that her salary for the two jobs is nearly $300,000. More than the state's governor, by the way. But it's all on the taxpayer's dime.
Ladies, is this not, because then they're going to tell y'all that, the stereotype is real. Don't evaluate every black woman the same way. Ain't that what y'all did to the police? Y'all categorize every police officer as evil. And so now when it's your turn, because basically she's a reflection of you. She wear all of the wigs and all of the sew-ins. She paying whoever it is that's in her administration an egregious amount of money because, you know what I'm saying, they got to allegedly make those late night visits according to a lot of the reports on the news. She's always self-promoting. She got to be in the front instead of leading from the back. She's not really on the field. She's using taxpayer dollars in order to continue to promote herself. All of this stuff, right? And now she's starting to get national news. So the question then is she a good representation of y'all, and should y'all hold her accountable as a sister code? Or should we just not judge all of y'all by the same standards by which she's running this town?
And this goes beyond signage.
Wait. She's an AKA? Oh. Hey, shout out to AL. Shout out to you, Aaron. Y'all and all. I bet you she probably went to an HBCU. She probably went to an HBCU. Part of my tours, when I go and meet y'all in person, I'm going to make sure I stop at all of the places that I'm holding accountable today. Good.
Merch. Henyard put an ordinance in place that if she lost a future mayoral election, the next mayor's salary would be dropped from $200,000 to $25,000. But if she wins, it stays the same. She also spent tens of thousands of dollars on a week-long walk to promote her self-named cancer charity, which has yet to file required reporting. She expensed almost $15,000 for a trip to Vegas, as well as shooting music videos like this awesome one with fellow city employees. Here's one official in Henyard's Township on some of the super mayor's super spending.
What was your reaction when you saw him?
Well, first of all, I didn't know anything about him. There's so many other ways we could have spent that money that would have, directly helped people.
Hey. I know the feds is like, the feds is watching. She could have avoided all of this. I could have coached her up. It was people in her camp that I had close relationships with and got in touch with, and they had called me and said, Anton, whatever. And she decided to make the executive decision to avoid me instead of getting in contact with me. She could have got a coaching call. I would have saw for all of this and helped her win her reelection and keep her bag and keep her money. And in the meantime, I could have called off all of the dogs from being able to do all of these live streams and these recordings about her. But no, she decided that she wanted to play it differently. And now you on Fox News. Right up under and right before President Biden makes remarks. You don't want to be on Fox News right before they got in the lower right-hand corner, President Biden makes remarks. That's not the segment that you want to debut your life on. That's not the segment that you want to debut your whole thing on. Y'all ain't seen the music video? I don't really want to play it because it got copyrighted music in it and I don't want to mess up my bag, but y'all can go out and do it. She should have paid attention. She should have paid attention. They say you did this, Anton, nobody was checking for it until you began posting. No, look, you're not going to hold me accountable for the fact that she decided that she wanted to continue to do this nonsense. You can't hold me accountable. It's her fault. Y'all should not be victim shaming. I'm a victim. My tax dollars, well, maybe not my tax dollars, but the people of Dolton's tax dollars is going into this and Thornton Township.
This truth is stranger than fiction. This is like a sitcom, but there is nothing funny about this.
I was trying not to laugh when you're reading all that. It's really hard. This is why we can't have nice things. You know? I love the drop in pay in case she loses, just to spite the person who beats her. Hilarious. Imagine if she was leveraging her position to rake in foreign money to enrich her family. I mean, that would be crazy. That's what Joe Biden's doing.
Yep.
But, look,
we
got it. We got it.
We wonder why government is so broken and so corrupt. It's because we elect people like her and Joe Biden.
And the thing is, Kaylee, she's playful. There's a hustle there. She's there's something sort of endearing about her. But when you bring it all to taxpayers' dollars,
I seen that too,
it
David
becomes
Williams.
patently unacceptable.
When people in her town have a median income of $24,000, it becomes just despicable and not just laughable. But back to the laughable, because I couldn't read enough of this. She was voted to be recalled by her constituents. It was overturned because of a technicality by the court. After her recall election, okay, it's from FoxNews.com, in response to the failed recall, Henyard showed up at the next board meeting blasting a disco song, began dancing on the podium. "How y'all doing?" she said, blaring into the microphone. "Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. Ain't no stopping us now."
Listen. You know why this is allowed to go on in poor communities, in a community where the average median income is $24,000, where it's below the poverty line? You know why this is allowed to go on? I was talking to somebody on the phone over there, some significant people, and we was trying to figure out if we wanted to do an in-person and live interview and all of this stuff, right? And do you know that she has fierce, and when I say fierce, I mean fierce supporters that continue to hold her down, even though it's costing them additional monies, even though it's putting their city in a bad spotlight, even though, they're raising taxes on the residents in order to pay for this. This is a poor person's dilemma. Poor people are the most loyal people when it comes to supporting bad behavior, despite having evidence otherwise. Why do you think that churches thrive so much, even though they continue to promise you that you're going to get a blessing with how much money, depending on how much money you give over into the collection plate? Why do you think that people have continued to perpetuate the narrative that the pastor pulls up in a Cadillac, but everybody else is catching a bus to the church and the parking lot is empty? Why do you think that that's been a thing that's been happening since the beginning of time? That is a poor community's dilemma. In communities where it's a little bit more thriving, where people are participating, where they have a higher income, and they understand that the decisions that you make affect their lives, they're more involved. They're more objective, right? Why do you think that Harvard wound up forcing Claudine Gay to resign? Regardless of what I thought, regardless of what you thought, they forced her to resign. You know why? Because when you start messing up the money, then they're going to have to do something about it. But poor people that are under poverty, and that they continue to always go straight line regardless of what happens, and they're unable to think for themselves. That's why they vote the way that they vote, because they're not able to really look at the facts and then make an objective decision as to whether or not listen, them supporting this bad behavior is really just enabling her to continue to come up under the bus. Because the more that she feels empowered, the more that she feels like she got support, the less receptive she's going to be to advice that would actually help her do the right thing and keep her outside of the spotlight. And this is why you continue to see it rolling over. And now they got it on Fox News right before the president's remarks at 3:15 Eastern the other day.
Typically, if you narrowly survive a recall, there's some humility. But leave it to this lady to come with the disco music. I got it. and then the music videos on top of all that.
Hexa, that's like that scene, remember in Batman, the original, the best one with Michael Keaton, where Joker comes in blasting that awesome Prince song, and the whole thing is he was defacing all of the city's
Look at
property.
these idiots dancing in the video
with
with her.
It's sort of an analogy here, because at the end of the day, her constituents are suffering, and she's having a grand old time, and looks like in Vegas too.
Yeah, I love all of it. You know why?
I love
Because
it
it's
for
a
y'all,
cartoon.
too.
It's a cartoon of what happens every day, the grift, the compromise, the gold bars, the foreign influence, all that. Everybody else tries to hide it and pretend like they're not doing it. She's just doing it. Now, you know, she'll probably not win re-election, and the next mayor's only going to get paid $25,000.
They're going to have to
Too
crowdfund.
bad.
to get
You know,
another
good for
mayor.
the city. That's where they save money. Like it's.
So
It's amazing.
I don't take her seriously until she does something that harms that city. And I think she is harming the city by spending its money on things that the city can't reap the benefits of. The couple things that I saw in the video, and I don't know if we can replay them, I thought that her support of law enforcement and first responders, as she's dancing there with police officers and then she goes to the firehouse, that is something that I could really love.
And leave it to the sister code to keep her uplifted. And of course, because she's on Fox and because, you know, she want to make sure that she don't look bad or lose her job or anything like that, right? But look, the sister code is going to be with you. And this is the enabling of bad behavior. Of course, she's going to say, but I don't really support her, you know, some of the stuff that she's doing in order to harm and this and that and this and that. But ultimately, she's going to highlight the good. And this is the sister code. This is why, in a lot of instances, most of y'all don't do the thing that's in your own best interest, is because you're always supporting the thing that's not best for you. And this is a bigger problem. Now it's becoming a molehill turned into a mountain. And the sisters are always the ones that's always going to make sure that you hold it down. Identity politics, we all know what it is. We all know what it is. And so when everybody got quiet, look, when she first started talking, everybody got quiet.
And first responders, as she's dancing there with police officers and then she goes to the firehouse, that is something that I could really love for politicians
That's a
to
good point.
do. And I wish that they would
Now I love her more.
crowdfund for the food for that event and let us all just go and celebrate them. And so
This is what keeps women from being held accountable. Connie says she doesn't do the sister code things, plus she's married to a white dude. I'm only reacting to what it is that I see. Nope, I'm only going by what it is that I see and what I hear. You're not going to tell me she didn't just say what she said. You're not going to tell me that she didn't just say what she said. Maybe she doesn't support the sister code on most of them, but I'm going by what I just witnessed right here. And for some reason, y'all think that just because somebody is married to a white guy or a black guy is married to a white woman, then that then gives them a pass because somehow, some way, they're not on code anymore. No, we go by what you say on an individual basis, and we're objective enough to separate it so that we can make an informed decision versus what you saying that your life is. When I stand on business and I switch up on what I say or I do whatever it is that I do and y'all hold me accountable, that's just what it is. I can't sit here and say, well, no, I'm married to a black woman. No, I said what I said and it is what it is. And so she was holding her down and she wanted to change the whole dynamics of how this woman is being painted. But in reality, we know what's happening. When you pass an ordinance that say if anybody beats you in an election, they go from making more than $200,000 to less than $25,000 for the position. Who is this sprinkle woman? All right, I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to look inside of my you're not a blackity black, so you don't speak for blacks. All right. I see Gangsta Love really wants some attention. He want me to pay attention to him so bad. I know when the bad kids act out in class so that they can try to get some special attention from you. Oh, no, you go stand in the corner. And then you go home feeling like, oh, Anton loved me because he finally put me in the corner. That's what gangster love is. So we're going to let him continue to be bad inside of the chat because he's the bad kid in class. He the one in class that always want to get your attention, and the teacher, he was the one in class in school. Don't block him. Don't you block him. Don't you block that boy. You leave him here. Don't block him. He has not been disrespectful. He has not been disrespectful. Let him continue to be bad. He acting out. We gotta meet him with love. Gangsta love in the chat. We gotta meet him with love. See? He just want my attention. He got it. Oh, you listen. Hey, gangsta love, how's it going today? Is everybody treating you good? Listen, we love you and we appreciate you. We want you to do well today, okay, baby? All right.